Good evening, vloggers. My name is Alistair, creators of Desire to Inspire in Association with Mental Health Awareness. So basically, I just wanted to have a little bit of a talk with you all guys tonight, and whether you be a single parent, a mum with all the kids, a dad with all the kids, and say you've maybe lost another person through a disease, or say something that's happened in your life, or say for example you've been kicked out of home at a young age, or say you've had to move from where you are, or you've not felt successful in a job, or you're on your own and you feel like that no one's gonna ever want you or ever need you, or things like that. Or end of the day, I have loads of people that I know around the world, worldwide, and at the end of the day, none of you are a failure. So you need to get the thought of failure right out of your head, because you believe you and me, people think we're failures in life, because the fact is we're living in that mentality. But down to that mentality is down to the people that are surrounding us and the environment that we keep. And that's why we're like that, because when we're in that mentality, that's when we think we're a victim. And when we think we're a victim, we think that everything is our fault, that we don't deserve happiness, we don't deserve love, we don't deserve the good things in life. It's almost like, oh well, this is it for me now. It's almost like it'll never get any better. But at the end of the day, you've got to realise that the people that you're surrounded by, the environment that you're in, and the people that you keep in your life, are they lifting you or are they putting you down? And it's a case of, if they're putting you down, then move. Do you know what I mean? End of the day, if you want to create better for yourself, then you need to make that movement and move. And that's what life's about. We live in a society today where we've got expectations, and some people have high expectations and other people don't have low expectations. But the thing is, by having expectations, we're creating, and we're basically manifesting and creating and turning somebody into something that we want them to be. But in reality, we're not allowing them to grow and thrive in their own environment, allow them to be themselves. I mean, that's what it's about, being yourself. Like I say, we can guide and encourage and support people, but at the end of the day, it's down to them that matter, but it's down to them to get themselves out of it. And all you've got to do in life is be around people, but not only be around people, be there to believe that they can do it, believe in someone that they can reach their goals, believe that where they are in life right now, that it will get better no matter what. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, there's not a book on life, how to live life, or you need to have this, and this, and do that, and that. End of the day, we're down to do things at different times of our life, in through periods of life as well. Some of us can end up with loads of kids. Some of us might only be lucky to have one. I mean, it's the fact of life, but it's a gift that, whilst we're down here on earth, then it's, you need to do things that matter. And when you leave the earth, people remember you for what you've done and what you've created and what difference you've made to the world. And that's far more important than having all the money in the world, or having all the amount of friends in the world. End of the day, if I only have 3 or 4 friends, it doesn't bother me. If those friends are with you through thick and thin, and they know your journey and your life story, then that's more than enough for me. Do you know what I mean? I've got so many people that in my life that I could have lost, but I'm so grateful that they're still here. And then I've got other people in my life that have come back, that I've not seen in ages and not connected with in ages, but now I have. It's almost like I had to come back in their life, just like they had to come back in mine. End of the day, when we meet people for different reasons, and some of them for a long period of time, and some of us, when we meet people in life, they teach us lessons. And some lessons are good lessons, and some lessons are bad lessons. But at the end of the day, right, all I know is that, like, I've got a good heart. And with having a good heart, like, that's really, really important. Like, even if people do things that's not very nice to me, or do things where I feel like, you know, like there's justice, like, you know, being accused of something, or, you know, being treated with that, like, this lack of respect, because then you feel like unworthy and you don't feel value, which is ridiculous. End of the day, right? You need to be in a place and do things that make you happy. But like I say, it's all about living life for yourself, not about living life for others. And that's like vitally important. You know, mind on the matter. I mean, mental health at the minute, it's on the rise, but it's massively affecting everyone around the world that we live in right now. And it doesn't matter if, you know, you're a royalist, you're a sports person, you know, everything affects us all. And a lot of it is to do with the outside world and the society, how it is, like with TV, computers, you know, things like social media, for example. You know, people can hit and hurt people on social media, but then they can be projecting out the wrong things. But at the end of the day, like, if it's a norm, when I mean by a norm, that means someone's been living in that mentality and living in that mindset for such a long period of time. When something comes along and challenges it, and you want to get you out of that mindset, it's very hard to break free. But once you break free, it's amazing what better things you can create and bring into your life, and that's absolutely massive. And I don't see why people can't do that. I mean, end of the day, create like a vision board and, you know, believe it, dream it, visualize it, manifest it, think of what it would be like to have all that and bring it into the physical. And like when you do, you know, like you create things that you never thought you could ever create. Do you know what I mean? And reach dizzy heights that you never thought you were capable of doing. If someone had asked me like 18 months ago, would I be able to stand up right now and talk like this openly about my life experiences, that a lot of people that I've known in my life and openly talk about them, and I've been like almost like afraid to speak for such a long period of time because of like what I thought others might think or judge of me. But at the end of the day, it was all in my head, and no, because I was in that mindset. I just decided, you know what? No, you need to do you. You need to like focus on yourself and what makes you happy. And by, you know, talking and openly about things, that's what can make you happy. Now, I've been working quite a bit on my own, basically my own story, and I'm going to read it to you today. It's quite long, so be prepared to be with me for a long period of time. Okay? It's called Desire to Inspire, From Darkness to Light, My Soul Journey by Alistair Smith. Okay, so chapter 1, The Black Hole. I could hear laughing. It was dark inside. I could feel myself growing inside someone. I kept hearing voices saying hello to me. I was trying to sleep. I felt squashed inside a confined space. I kicked out often when I felt stuck or trapped, so the person I was inside would move about so I could relax and be at peace within myself. I could feel myself growing more and more inside. I heard voices from up above. It was my angels telling me, soon it will be your turn to be born and brought into the world. The people who are talking to you right now are your family. You can hear your mum and dad, and you're going to be part of the Smith family. There's lots of family members already. You'll soon get to meet them all. I kicked out the biggest kick of all with excitement. My mum felt me kick. I kept looking up, hearing the voices and remembering the voice of my mum and dad. I'm thinking, I wonder what it would be like to escape the depths of this dark hole. I mean, I see how it is outside. It was winter time. I felt myself move lower down like I was a balloon about to burst through. 11th of December was precisely that. I saw the light. It was my time to enter out in the dark hole and into the real world. It was bright. When I came out, I heard lots more voices, seeing lots of nurses and doctors in blue and white and thinking, where am I now? What is this place? I heard my dad say, son, you're here. This is Earth. This is where we all live. And now you're part of our world. I remember being cradled in my dad's arms, being held tight and gently, being kissed on the forehead, and my dad saying, "You are one of us now." I met both my two sisters. They said hello to me and heard one say, "You're a heavy thing." I said hello to my mum, managed a small smile, and then started to cry. I must have been hungry. It had been a long day for us all. We left the hospital together, me excited to start my life on Earth, dreaming of what excitement things awaited my life. All I know was I couldn't wait to see more of this world. Chapter 2, Guardian Angel, being with me. I remember quite a lot from growing up. When I was little, I loved playing outside in the sunshine. What child doesn't? I remember sitting in an old washing up bowl full of water and lots of water toys. You could fill up pouring water into different objects. Having a favourite jumper that said, "I'm a menace" on it. I certainly was living up to that name. I tried running really fast in my Edda Duck slippers without falling over. I had a favourite comforter that was knitted by one of my aunties. He was called Corporal Klotz. He went everywhere with me. He got so mucky he had to have more washes and baths than me. There was one particular day where I went out with my mum down the road to get some potatoes. My mum got out of the car and said, "Wait here." I was in my car seat at the pavement side. Whilst my mum was getting the potatoes, I decided I should go help her. So without thinking, I undid my buckle, shimmied along the seats, opened the car door, got out roadside and ran around to the pavement side and had a big smile on my face. "Mummy, can I help you carry the potatoes?" My mum was in shock. Couldn't believe I had got out. She couldn't decide whether to be mad at me or just cry. We called in at Grandma's on the way back from the shops, and my mum was shaking. When we got to Grandma's, the vicar was there. He comforted my mum and said, "His guardian angel must have been with him." He looked down on me and gave me a hug and said, "You must never do that again." I jumped up onto the armchair and kissed my mum's cheek and said sorry, and then kissed Grandma too. I was very lucky, boy, that nothing had happened to me. From that day onwards, no matter where I've been or who I've been with, my guardian angels have always been with me and helped guide me through different stages of my life. This was only the start of it, as I would look to my angels later on in life too. Chapter 3, Trying Hard. So my life at school, well, what I can remember of it anyway. I remember being excited to start junior school. When you have all your uniforms so you can feel a part of the school. I had small green shorts and t-shirt and the logo of the school being on the t-shirt and having your name written on everything so nothing got lost. I always tried my best in school. I used my manners, was kind and helpful, and said please and thank you all the time. Held doors open for people too. One day I was playing outside near the car track with the cars and a group of friends. I remember one particular boy who smashed my head on the car track. There was blood everywhere. I remember crying and screaming at the top of my voice. The dinner ladies came rushing over and got a first aider, and they informed my parents whilst phoning for an ambulance. We went through a lot of traffic with the blue siren making a loud noise. I had to have stitches in my head and some special glue to push it back together. Luckily for me, it wasn't that visible to see. All I do know is I had a throbbing headache for a few hours. I liked playing football at school, and we played with a small-sized tennis ball in the top playground. We picked teams and didn't get picked last, which was, as a child, that was an achievement in itself. We played football for a good hour, despite it being only a tennis ball. You could get a real height on the ball, chipping it and hitting it on the volley. When somebody wanted to shoot, they would shout their name out so nobody else would want to hit the ball. I became that into football. The following Christmas I got bought my first Arsenal shirt. I was so excited to wear it and feel the colours of it on me. I felt really proud and super happy. I once got called into the headmaster's office, and as a child you fear the worst. You think, "Oh, I'm in trouble, what have I done now?" The head teacher was like, "Come in, do sit down." I was shaking like a leaf. He was like, "You're not in trouble, I just need you to do these maths papers for me." I smiled. "Is that it?" I said. He was like, "Yes." "That's okay," I smiled back, looking relieved and excited to be going to big school. I met lots of friends and it was time to say bye to a lot of them and go on an adventure. Chapter 4, Feeling Empty. People say your school years are the best years of your life. Sadly, at high school, that was not the case for me. The early years at high school was okay. We went on trips to Malham on a geography field trip. We did lots of walking and we learned a lot about outside world we live in. I really like PE. I love trying all the different sports. And my teachers saying how I am a team player. They said I look towards my teammates and help others become better players. It was so nice to have positive feedback. I enjoyed the woodwork too. I made a maze game with LED lights and I took it with me when I went away with the family to Blackpool with my grandma and granddad. I showed them what I had made and they were like, that's really good, but the LED lights was too bright for their liking. Back at school, I only had a small group of friends, but I wasn't bothered about being popular. Just having friends and socialising was a great thing to have. I do things outside school with too. Moving into my last few years at high school, I found it very hard to concentrate and often got called a swat by many people. I was trying so hard to focus on my studies with my GCSEs coming up. I couldn't focus on, as I was bullied my last few years at high school. I would get called names, pushed and kicked. Even once got my homework pinched from my bag once, and someone else took the credit for it. It was so upset, I told the teacher the next day. I went to the head of my year and spoke to them about it, and how I was made to feel, how I couldn't concentrate in class or focus on anything right there and then. My head of year suggested I spoke to the bullies in front of her and told them how they was making me feel. They said sorry in front of the head of the year and shook my hands, but behind closed doors they kept doing it. It was like being their feeder. They kept coming to me to make themselves feel better. I went and told my form tutor about what had been happening, and rather than have anything positive say to me, he said, maybe you're a bully, and that's why you are being bullied. I was in shock. Why would somebody say that to me? You heard the saying mud sticks? Well, it certainly did. Chapter 5, back on track. So I remember coming out of school and not getting the grades I wanted. I felt sad, I felt like I'd failed, and I felt like my last 2 years had affected my chances of getting a good job. I decided to go to college. At the time, there were two things I was really good at. I was either going to be a chef or moving to work in the childcare sector. I decided I would follow in my mum's footsteps and go into childcare. I went to college and studied childcare for 3 years. While I was on placement at a nursery, I really started to show my wings blossom and come out of my shell more. In fact, so much they offered me a job with it and snapped me up in the summer, as they knew my course was finishing. I felt so proud of myself. I had made it to my first full-time job. It felt amazing to have money in my pocket, and I was like, I like the feeling of this. With most jobs, you would always find people who don't like you and don't want you there. There were certain individuals trying to belittle me and put me down, making out I wasn't incapable of doing my job properly. Again, this made me think back to the time I was bullied at school, and what my form tutor had said to me made me think maybe I'm bringing this all on myself. I even went and told my boss, and her response was, it's the way the cookie crumbles. I couldn't believe my eyes, so I left and went to pursue my career elsewhere. But I do remember standing up to those people and putting them in their own place and giving them a taste of their own medicine. I moved on to pursue a career in museums. I was there for a number of years, only to show my talents and light up a room by just being me. It felt amazing, wonderful, and helped others to grow and teach them how to be in that field. I took them under my wing and I was like a mentor to them. But again, I seemed to fall under the same spell. I didn't feel like my face fitted anymore, and there was no chance of moving up the ladder. So I started to look elsewhere and try my luck working abroad. All I can say is I'm glad I did take the chance. They were the best years of my life so far, and I couldn't wait to have freedom away from things, people and places that no longer serve me. Chapter 6, Living the Dream. I was so excited to try my hand at being a holiday rep and work abroad. First I had to travel to base camp and do a lot of training, and then set an exam at the end of it. I had no trouble doing the practical side of things. I did that no problem. I was nervous about my written exam. I studied with another person and we tested each other on it. It turned out it paid off. I passed with flying colours and we flew out to Spain with others to be a rep for a good 3 months. It was an amazing time. The sun shining on me every day and making holiday dreams come true for so many holiday makers. I can recall one day I was out on a walk with a group of children around the hotel with other people, and we went on a dinosaur hunt. I had hidden the inflatable dinosaur inside a giant ceramic pot. We crept up to find the dinosaur, and I pretended it was attacking me and wrestled it to the floor. The children were laughing their heads off at me, like I did. Little did I know my boss was observing me, and even she was laughing at me. We sometimes had to set up different sessions in association with the theme we were doing. I would make it look eye-catching and vibrant, and my boss loved it. I was showing others how their setup should look too. It was hard working over the summer. We often did long hours, but it was worth it. And when you had a day off, you was free to explore parts of Spain, or if you need to catch up on your sleep, you could do that too. I've never felt so happy to be alive and in my aura and glowing at what I was doing. I continued to do this for another 2 more years after I explored Tunisia, from riding camels to visiting the Star Wars set to driving quad bikes and riding on jet skis. These were truly amazing times I had. That year I won an award for being the best rep and most hardworking, and because of that I got to work in a big hotel in Greece, which was also amazing. Got to visit some famous beaches, went into a nice palace, even had a beer in a boot. Let me tell you, felt like a day went by the time I drank it all the way to the bottom. We even had a trip out to Turkey, but when we came back, my bag broke, and it had my passport in it, and I had completely forgotten about it. So that affected my performance for the rest of the season. I'd gone back and forth to numerous places trying to sort it out. I was proper stressing me out. I was almost like, why me? But then I realised I was careless and not vigilant enough, because if I had been in the moment, I would have remembered that it was in my bag. Luckily, 2 weeks before we were due to fly home, my new passport had come in the post, thanks to my friend who had come out to see me and taken my passport photos back with him to give to my family, so they could all sort it out from their end. As I was approaching the big 3-0, I thought that's the last year of my repping. It had been memorable. I'd met amazing friends for life, but I thought maybe it's time to get a job back home and start settling down. My lessons abroad had given me that fire in my belly again, in a positive attitude and a good outlook on life. Once more, I was excited to see where my career would take me to. Next, I was gathering vast amount of experience now, working in different fields, but I had that yearning to feel like I wanted to feel somewhere I belonged. Chapter 7, Fear of Failing. So I was back on English soil. It felt great to be back and back home. I missed all my friends and family. I was quite fortunate that the place I'd been working at in the winter welcomed me back with open arms. I felt great to be back and reacquainted with old faces. It felt like I'd never been away, so I continued to work hard and gain more knowledge and more things about the company and how things work, etc. I'd been there a number of years before they gave me the opportunity to move up the ladder. I thought, yes, finally my chance to progress somewhere. Things started off great. I was enjoying my new role and more responsibility, and everyone was singing from the same hymn sheet. But as it happens everywhere, people leave and move on to try new things, and this all of a sudden was happening lots. I started to overthink things and was thinking, is this because of me? I lost my position, I was demoted. So no sooner had I had it, I'd lost it, and the thought of failing popped into my head, like there was a devil on my shoulder saying, you can't do this, you've not got what it takes to be a leader. I try my hardest, but sometimes in life, no matter how hard you try, it's never good enough in some people's eyes, and that's just the way of life. So I continued to work for a company and help them grow, get more customers in through the door, through word of mouth, and saying good things about to other people. I got to the stage where I felt really low and I couldn't do it anymore. I'd lost the drive and the hunger I once had, and everything came back to the surface, like I was having flashbacks of when I was bullied, belittled in my first job, thinking back to the phrases, that's the way the cookie crumbles, well you must have been a bully too if you've been bullied. And it made me feel empty inside, like I was useless. I couldn't find a job that made me happy without someone having to put me down. I was overthinking everything in my head, like I was a failure and felt worthless. I thought to myself, what is the point? And the thought of going to work was making me feel physically sick to the stomach, thinking I can't do this anymore. Chapter 8, Breakdown. So not only did I feel sick to the stomach about where I was, I also felt like I wasn't all there. I felt like I was dead and lifeless inside of me, and all that remained was a mere shell of the person I was. Work became so tiresome that I couldn't do it anymore. It was making me feel unwell and was giving me constant nightmares and sleepless nights. It was so scary as I felt so numb that I was away in another world. You could tell by looking at me how withdrawn I looked and how much weight I was losing and how it was starting to take over my mind. I recall going out on a mini break to try and revive me. I felt like a car, like people were trying to jumpstart me, but nothing was moving. I slowly started to come round and perk up a little bit. I realise now how hard and painful it must have been for my friends and family to witness me go through this and not being able to help or understand or know what to do. I describe it to my close loved ones as saying I feel like I'm in a sand timer and the sand is slowly filling up in my heart. And I'm like banging on the glass but nobody can hear me and there's no way of getting out. I lost a lot of things through this time period, and again things from my past that were traumatising would resurface from my past, and I was trying to suppress my feelings and push everything back down like I can't face all this now. So eventually, after feeling stronger, I decided to look at doing something else, thinking I need a break and a change in fortune and I need to move away from people and places that were bringing me down. I thought I had found a nice new place to work. How wrong was I? It was like stepping into a lion's den, and it's been full of vultures ready to cause mayhem that led to unfortunate events, and I lost twice as much this time, and important people left my life. Whether I brought it on myself, or it was a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, I was surrounded by so many negative people, it felt like no matter which way I turned, I felt trapped, and there was no one to get me out of it apart from myself, and I don't know how, but I did it to this day. And I am so proud of myself and the changes I have made. Chapter 9, Rebirth. This was the biggest challenge yet. I had to hit rock bottom of my life, and it was up to me to get out of it. But how? Because believe you me, when you're in that headspace, it's so hard to switch the focus. For days I would not want to get out of bed. I was so angry with the world and was thinking, why me? What have I done so bad to deserve this treatment, to be made to feel this way? I started writing down things, all the things that had made me so unhappy, things that would come back to the surface, and each time something bad would happen to me, I wrote everything down since birth. I lit a candle and wrote each thing down and said it out loud, and forgave myself and forgave people, places and things that no longer serve me or that satisfy me. It took a long time to read each one out. There was a lot of emotion that came to the surface and was very raw to say a lot of things, but it was time to get out of that mentality and stop playing the victim mode. I was realising in my life that I needed to make big changes and stop being around people and places and things that was making me sad. It was time to get out of that negative headspace and start focusing on the positive. I joined a running group to get me out of the house, socialising, meeting new people, getting my health back up to speed, feeling confident and good in my own body again. I felt the need to open up about things that I'd gone through, so I started to write the other things down, which then I started going out in nature to try and ground myself. I would walk for miles and really feel the fresh air and the feel of the ground underneath my feet, and feel the sun beating down on my face. It felt like the universe was trying to help me heal. I had no idea really what was going on, but whatever was happening, I was starting to feel better. I felt like my strength was coming back. I felt like all the damage and suffering I had gone through was slowly erasing from my life. I started watching motivational videos and I was drawn towards them more and more and got inspiration from them, and I started opening up talking about my own life experiences and sharing it in the public eye. I was a bit apprehensive at first, but the more I did it, the more confident I got. And as I did it, my views was going up, and I thought, wow, I must be talking sense to people. So I started opening up more and more and doing the videos on a regular basis. It was like when I was relaxed and at peace within oneself, downloads would start coming to me and I would write them down in my memo and later go back to them, then start to analyse it into more depth, then read what I'd written and then to put it in a video format and present it and share amongst many of my friends and family. As I was out running, I was thinking I need a name for this, thinking what can I call it? So I came up with the name Desire to Inspire, and the thought process behind it was to desire something and want it that bad, you inspire yourself to go and do it. So it was almost like I'd seen the light and things were starting to change. It felt like I was guided by the universe to keep doing this and talking about things, and if I can help make a difference or change one person's life, I know I would have made some sort of impact. I've always been good at giving people advice, but not so good with myself. Chapter 10, the breakthrough. So the more I was doing these videos and gaining confidence in myself, I was starting to feel so much better, feeling healthy, feeling great in my own body, but also looking outside myself and seeing the world for the first time in a new light. It quite literally felt like I had been reborn, completely from head to toe, and just everything seemed new again, fresh, like there was air of excitement in the air, like something new was happening or coming in for me. It felt like I was no longer in the dark. I could see people for their true colours and see their motives before getting anywhere near me. People from my past returned, but it felt new. It felt like I'd just met them again and I had lots to talk about and catch up with. So my socialising groups got bigger and I started going out a lot more. Not just doing things on my own, but also with other people. It felt nice that people wanted to spend time with me, but at the same time it felt like the people that I had made the effort with, that had precipitated and started doing it back. Like they would make the effort first instead of it being me always having to initiate and start a conversation and suggest to do things. It was like they were mirroring me, but without any pressure being on or they need to say anything. It felt like all of a sudden people were respecting me more. Not only that, but because I know I was changing, people around me was changing too. But for the better, it felt like for the first time in a long time, people understood me and got what I was saying and the reason and thought process behind it all. Then something really strange started happening. I started seeing 1111 everywhere. It would appear on number plates, appear on the TV, or look down on my phone and that's what time it would be. I googled it and I was intrigued to know why I kept seeing these numbers constantly. It told me that the things I was manifesting and thinking of, I was making them happen into the physical and at an alarming rate. It was like, wow, this is a bit crazy to say, at the least. So I kept having positive thoughts in my head and making sure the people around me were doing exactly the same. Not only that, and I started getting dreams through animals as well and seeing them. Keeping the Faith, chapter 11. These animals started appearing in my dreams. We're seeing wolves, birds, panthers. I looked these up. It felt like they were messages from my spirit animals. I've never really been a spiritual person before, but I felt the need to explore more and delve into the archives, so I did. I then looked up wolves on YouTube and came across a video about a wolf on the hill, and it showed that despite everything going on, he was never giving up. Even if it meant himself going, leading a path on his own, he would. This wolf was strong, brave and courageous, and something twigged inside me. It was like telling me that this wolf is me, and that's why I need to go on my own path and not worry about others or what others might think. So I did. I became more independent than ever. I wanted to do things for myself and not look to anyone for help or guidance. I was also drawn to the Black Panther and I was thinking, why am I interested in this? I looked the definition up of this and it said, a Black Panther is a leader, a protector, has strength and wisdom. Again, I thought, wow, that's me. At the same time, I thought back previously and thought, maybe things didn't work out where I was because I wasn't ready to be a leader, but now I am. So in my thought process, I had a flashback that one of the old Arsenal players from the Invincible team had a panther tattoo. I went to bed thinking that night, woke up next morning thinking I want a tattoo. But the old me would have been like, I'm not doing that. But the new me went through with it and had it done. I now look down it and it symbolises how far I have come and the battles I have overcome. I thought it would hurt when I had it done. If anything, it felt like all the pain and mental suffering I'd gone through. It felt like someone had turned the tap on and it all came out. It felt like it'd been released from my body. I felt so happy inside, like my body was up, working fully again, and I was starting to not only grow and transform. I felt like my life was getting back on track. I felt an air of calmness. I didn't feel worried or stressed about things, just felt at peace with oneself, and nothing would ever break me down or get me to me ever again. Chapter 12, Seeing the Light. It was the summer. I came home from work and sat outside in the garden, and I could hear the birds tweeting away in the sky, so I thought I will interact with them. So the birds tweeted at me 3 times, so I was like, oh well, I'll just whistle back at them 3 times, so I did, and the birds tweeted back at me 3 times. I was blown away with what was happening, so I whistled 4 times at them, and the birds responded with tweeting 4 times. I was smiling, and my heart was melting inside with joy. I went in the garage to get out some tea, and out of the garage came a beautiful red butterfly. Now when you see butterflies, it's for 2 reasons.
One, your loved ones are close by that have passed, or two, it's a rebirth of something new, like a job or an idea that you're thinking of at the time. And if you see a rainbow in the sky, that's the finishing of a cycle that is coming to an end, like that chapter in your life is now closed. Another two encounters with animals occurred. I went to the park and I sat down meditating, breathing the fresh air when a load of dogs appeared around me. One started jumping on me and licking my face. I thought dogs are loyal animals and a man's best friend. As I looked down on the bench where I was sat on the other side, there was a card that said "Believe it," and one of my quotes I made up was called "Believe it to achieve it." And I was like, it's a sign from the universe telling me to keep going. You were on the right path. Later the next day, I went for a walk with my mate, and we had gone past some llamas in a field. One was really staring at me with his big brown eyes, and the other one was baring his teeth at me, smiling like a Cheshire cat. My mate was like, "Why are those llamas looking at you like that?" I was like, "I don't know." I knew really that the animals were helping me grow and develop and gain strength. I think that animals were picking up on my new sense of smell of me, like I wasn't the same person anymore. And as we walked further into the wilderness, I heard a rustle in the trees. I turned around and said to my mate, "It's like Bear Grylls in here." As I said, an owl emerged out of the trees and literally skimmed my head. I felt a claw brush past my head. Owls are wise birds, just like me. Chapter 13, Making My Dreams a Reality. As I was growing and evolving, a lot of things were starting to make sense. A lot more. I was seeing repeated patterns happening again and again in my life, and the same cycles and things happening over and over again. I was like, I don't want to go through the same things and the same pain again and again. It was seeing everything in my life was repeating, like in a loop. It feels like my life, like I'm being on a hamster wheel and I couldn't get out of it. But it was like I was seeing things a lot clearer. It felt like I had a deep understanding of what was going on in the world and what was important right now. It was like my brain had become the news. I had seen things and talked about things covering a range of different subjects in my videos. Then it would appear on the news itself or in programs that I had come across or watched. I started to believe more and more in everything that was going on. It felt like everything good was coming my way. So I really believed I could create my own business, and now it's starting to flow and ideas are coming in by the dozen. My videos led to me talking about things like the state the world is in, that we live in the throwaway society, like people's best friend is an electronic device more than a person. They spend more time on that than they do with normal human beings. Like people have to go into boxes, like everything is separated from each other. People are too busy trying to be people pleasers in the world and forget to take care of themselves. You have to fill your own cup before you can fill others. You have to become whole. You are no good to someone only half full. You need to be full to the top with happiness and love. People tend to think life is a competition and people around you have to have things bigger and better than you. Things people focus on more is money and materialistic things, when in reality the most important thing is time and energy spent with the right people that matter. Right now, everything I have done has led me to the right place. I'm in the right job, in the right environment, surrounded by the right people. I have people believe in me. My friends and the family are the same too. It's like everything I ever wanted is finally here for me, and I'm starting to feel fulfilled. This is the story of me, the boy who never quite got to where he wanted to be until now. I felt like there were certain things in my life that was missing. I opened up my life from the minute that I was born to being a child growing up to reaching adulthood. I expressed openly at trials and tribulations I have gone through, my battle with certain aspects in my life and how I have overcome and become the man I am today. Hope you find this story inspiring. This is my life, my way of living. I've been happy for me. I'm finding my happiness for myself, no one else. Remember to fill that cup to the top and be true to yourself. Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, I just thought I'd read you a little bit of my life story to all of you. I know I've been working on for a long period of time, but I want people to think back and reflect. you know, that stuff that's worked in your life and stuff that hasn't worked out in your life, and thinking, don't blame yourself. You know, not everyone has a kind heart. Not everyone understands you. Not everyone is like you. Some people judge, and when we're living in a judging society, that is what's going on in the world. People judge and make judgment before they even truly know who you are. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone that's known you 10 years, or someone that's only known you a few years, or someone that's only known you 6 months. Like, each person's being assessed in life. And like, when you see someone that's rich, to someone who's living on the streets, to someone who's in a high paid job, to someone who's on minimum wage,